Morning, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to episode number 50 in the book of Deuteronomy. So we're going to ask today, how long can you hang on a tree? Specifically, how long can you hang on the cross? So one of the interesting things about Deuteronomy is that the truths of Deuteronomy echo through the rest of the Bible. They echo through the ages. And sometimes the further away you look at them, the more you understand them way back when. Now, today's going to be one of those days. So we're going to look at the urgency of a couple of guys, Joseph of Arimathea and Nicodemus, and even the scribes and the Pharisees, who at the cross of Jesus, with the coming of sundown, quickly got him tended to after he died. We're going to join the story in the New Testament. We're going to start it in John chapter 19, and this is at the moment of Jesus' death. This is from John 19, verse 30. When Jesus had received the sour wine, he says, "It is finished." He bowed his head and he gave up his spirit. So Jesus dies at this moment. And then verse 31, since it was the day of preparation, that is the preparation for the Sabbath. The Sabbath is Saturday, so this is Friday afternoon, almost Friday evening. So since it was the day of preparation, and so that the bodies would not remain on the cross on the Sabbath, for the Sabbath was a high day, the Jews asked Pilate that their legs may be broken. We'll talk about that in a second, that they may be taken away. So the soldiers came and broke the legs of the first and the other who had been crucified with him. But when they came to Jesus and saw that he was already dead, they did not break his legs. But one of the soldiers pierced the side of Jesus with a spear, and at once came out blood and water. He who saw it bore witness. His testimony is true. He knows that he is telling the truth, that you may believe. This is John, sees this and wants you to believe as well. So that's why he writes the Gospel of John. All right, so the interesting thing is that the Jewish leaders are adhering to the law that's in Deuteronomy. We'll get to that in a second. They're adhering to the law about the timing of the crucifixion. That is, hanging someone on a tree, and the urgency specifically to get them off the tree, off the cross, made out of wood, off the tree before they are there for the evening, for the night. So what is this urgency? Well, it's Friday afternoon, the day of preparation for this. It's Friday, which is the day of preparation for the Sabbath. And Sabbath starts at Friday at sundown. So it's fast approaching. So they're going to break the legs. So what's the deal with that? Well, crucifixion is a nasty business. It's supposed to be prolonged. It's supposed to be shameful. You eventually died of exhaustion and asphyxiation, maybe of blood loss in Jesus' case, because the only way to inhale was to hang down. It's sort of paradoxical, to hang down lest your chest cavity expand by the weight of your body. But the only way to exhale was to stand up on your legs and allow the pressure on your arms to come off so that your chest cavity could squish together and you could expel CO2. So if you broke the legs, you would accelerate the process of this asphyxiation. So at the moment of the story, Jesus has already given up his spirit. He's already dead, but the other prisoners are not dead. Now, the urgency is they don't want his body being hanging on the cross, on the tree overnight, because tomorrow is the Sabbath and because of what it says in Deuteronomy. So can they be on the cross for a second day? Not if they're dead overnight. Specifically, they can't be on the cross overnight. Why? Well, that comes to our official passage in Deuteronomy chapter 21 and verse 22. If a man has committed a crime punishable by death, and he is put to death, and you hang him on a tree, his body shall not remain all night on the tree, but you shall bury him the same day. Bury him the same day. For a hanged man is cursed by God. You shall not defile your land. So if you leave him there, you're going to defile your land that the Lord your God is giving you for inheritance. So they didn't take Jesus off the cross for his benefit or his dignity. They took him off the cross because Deuteronomy warns about defiling your own land, Israel, by keeping the condemned on the cross overnight. So because of this great spiritual urgency, a burial is arranged. So watch how the events of the New Testament, specifically at the dear cross, the tree, are influenced by the truths of Deuteronomy. Let me just continue in John 19. After these things, Joseph of Arimathea, who was a disciple of Jesus, but secretly for fear of the Jews, asked Pilate that he might take away the body of Jesus. Pilate gave him permission. And of interest, in the Gospel of Mark here, it says that Pilate was surprised to hear that he should have already died. And summoning the centurion, he asked whether he was already dead. When he learned from the centurion that he was dead, he granted the corpse to Joseph. All right, let me go back to John. This is now about Joseph of Arimathea. So he came and took his body away. Nicodemus also, who earlier had come to Jesus by night, came bringing a mixture of myrrh and aloes, about 70 pounds in weight. So they took the body of Jesus, bound it in linen cloths with spices, as is the burial custom. Now in the place where he was crucified there was a garden, and in the garden a new tomb in which no one had yet been laid. So because of the Jewish day of preparation, since the tomb was close at hand, they laid Jesus there. So they used a tomb close at hand because of the timing of sunset was close at hand. All right, let's talk about the cross. It's the greatest accomplishment in world history. It's at the cross that the passion of Christ, where he demonstrates his passion for you. And all roads of Christianity lead through the suffering and the death and the crucifixion and the resurrection of Jesus. So we're not supposed to let the cross go unnoticed. And in today's case, don't let this detail go unnoticed. So they got Jesus off the cross because of what they knew from Deuteronomy. They didn't realize that Jesus had become the curse for them. And even the sin of putting him on the cross, ironically, is paid for by the spiritual work that Jesus did on the cross. So they didn't leave him on the cross because of what Deuteronomy says. It basically is get him off the cross, get the condemned person off the cross so that you are not condemned. You don't defile your whole land. And so of interest, the shadows of Deuteronomy are found here in the New Testament. So today's big point is, let's not let this detail of the cross go unnoticed. Thanks for listening.